Okay, class, again, picking up where we left off at, we had the n-intercept, which was 0.19, and it says, what does it mean in this situation? So basically, since we're starting since 2001, we would, oh, actually, I'm sorry, 1995. We were right in 1995, there were 19 million net users, or you could write internet users. Okay, now it says here, find the equation of the model by hand. Okay, now we already have our slope and we have our y-intercept. So we could just write this out. We have n is equal to, we would have 20.6t plus 19. So that is our equation. Now it says use the model to predict the number of internet users in the United States in 2010. Now remember, everything here is since 1995. So to predict that, that's 15 years from 1995. So we would take this equation and put in 15 for t. Now we could put this in our calculator. We will have 20.6 times 15 and then plus 19. And that would give us 328. So our final answer here would be n is 328, and it's already assumed to be in millions. It says the 2010 census data indicates that there are 308,745,538 people living in the United States. Has a model breakdown occurred? The answer is yes. And the reason why the model breakdown occurred is because there are more people in the population for the model than there are actual people. So basically what this is saying is the model has more people than there actually are. It's like 20 million more people. And then also, just to correct something at A and B, end both of your sentences with in the U.S. So in A, B, put in the U.S. And then for D, put the word million.
I got another number.
You got another number for this?
Yes.
Well, let me redo it, just to be sure. We have 20.6 times 15 plus 19. You gotta add the 19. Okay. All right. Now we come here to problem 14. Fast food sales in billions of dollars in the United States are shown in the table below. Let S equals F of T represent fast food sales in billions of dollars in the year that is T years since 1990. Find an equation for F of T with your calculator. Give 2 decimal places. Okay, class, to put this in your calculator, first of all, we need to see what year we're going from. It's 1990. So what we would need to do is draw a box here that will represent the representation of the years from 1990. So we're not going to use these larger years here. So from 1990 to 97, that'll be 7. This will be 8, 9, 10, and 11. So this in your calculator, this would be your L1. And then the fast food sales in billions, this will be your L2. So now we need to put these values inside of the calculator. Now this is what you need to do. On your calculator, I'm going to tell you what to press because I do not have the emulator available here. So what you need to press first is you need to press stat. So I'm going to write this down. First you will press stat. And then step 2, you will press enter. Step 3, of course, we're going to assume that your L1 and L2 is emptied out. If it is not, you need to go up to the top of L1 or L2 and press clear to get rid of those values. Now, the third thing you would do is type in the values. So type those values in real quick. You got 7, 8, 9, and you have to press enter after each value. So you have 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then you will press your right arrow after you press enter with 11. And then in L2 you would type in the values that go next to it, like 88.8, 92.5, 97.5, and also 101.4 and 105.5. Okay, now after you press enter on that last value, the next thing you would do is press stat again. So you'll press stat again. Then you will press your right arrow one place to calculate. Then we want the linear regression. So after you go to calculate, you will go to step 5, which you would press the number 4. So you'll press the number 4. And you should have a list. You will keep pressing enter until you get to calculate. So step 6, press enter until you calculate the answer. Now your answer, you should have y equals ax plus b, a is 4.23 and b is 59.07. So you will write this as an equation. You have f of t is equal to, it'll be 4.23 t and then plus 59.07. And this would be your equation because they want you to give it to 2 decimal places. So this would be your final answer. Are there any questions? All right, now we go on to the next page. It says here for number 15, in 1994, Congress passed the Brady Law, which requires background checks on prospective buyers before a gun sale is completed. U.S. firearm deaths for the years 1994 to 1999 are shown in the table. Now, from 1994 to 1999, but it says it's an A. It says let N equals F of T represent the number of firearm deaths in thousands at T years since 1990. So we have to do that chart again. And this time it's since 1990. So your first value would be 4, second value would be 5, third value 6, then 7, then 8 and 9. And this would be your L1. Your L2 will be the number of firearm deaths, which is listed here. Now they want you to find the equation, and we go through the exact same steps we went through before. But all you have to do now, I'm just going to talk you through it. Press stat, go up to L1, press clear to get rid of the values you had in already, and then go to L2 and press clear. And then now we can type in those values, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and also 9. Now we press the right arrow to L2. We have 39, 36, 34, 33, 31, and also 29. Now we'll press stat, the right arrow, the number 4, and enter until we calculate the answer. So your answer, we had to round this to 2 decimal places. We had f of t is equal to our a value be a negative 1.89 t, and then it'll be plus 45.92 when we round it to 2 decimal places. Now it says here, find t when f of t is 25 by hand. What does it mean in this situation? So basically we had 25 is equal to a negative 1.89 t plus 45.92. So we will subtract 45.92 on both sides. Now we could put that in our calculator. Call up this calculator, and we could have 25 minus 45.92, and that would give us a negative 20.92. We could write that over here. Negative 20.92 will give us equal to a negative 1.89 t. Now we'll divide each side by negative 1.89. Then we will take our calculator again, and we'll have, well, since we know a negative divided by a negative is positive, we can just divide that and we know we're going to get a positive answer. Okay. So we had 20.92 divided by 1.89. So we know our answer is going to be positive. It'll be approximately 11.07. So it'll be t is approximately 11.07. And it asks, what does it mean in this situation? That means that since f of t is equal to 25, that means that this t represents the year. So since the year 1990, so we could say in 2001, there was, what's that, 25, I believe that this is in millions, oh, in thousands. There were 25,000 deaths. Okay, so that's what it means for B. And like I said, I don't have enough room, so that is why I had to write it out like this. But you can write it a little neater in your course pack. So now we have C, find f of 10. So all we have to do here is substitute in 10 for t. So we have negative 1.89 times 10 plus 45.92. So we could put that in our calculator. So we have 1.89 negative times 10 plus 45.92. And that will give us 27.02. So f of 10 is equal to 27.02. And it says, what does it mean in this situation? So that means 10 years after 1990, which would be 2000. So this is saying in the year 2000, there will be, and you need to write this down, in the year 2000, there will be 27.02 thousand deaths. So again, in the year 2000, there will be 27.02 deaths. Now, and let's go back here to B and C. At the end of those sentences, put by firearms. So the sentence here put by firearms is death by firearms for B and C. Okay, now D, it says find the slope of the model. We know the slope here is a negative 1.89. What does it mean in this situation? It means that every year since 1990, gunshot deaths has went down by 1.89 thousand. Should go 1.89 thousand. So you need to write that down. Now it says find the n-intercept.